Hello.
Hello. Oh my God, and here we are.
Bestie, we did it. Hey, everyone who is out there. Welcome to our first ever episode of the Besties podcast. I'm Catherine.
Hi, guys. I'm Brenda.
And we are the Besties.
The best.
Producer, hitting the music, producer. A little tun tun tun.
A little. Yeah, and right next to me is my hubby, our little AKA producer. Boom. There you go. So, yeah, we've been friends for over 35 years. I mean, guys.
We're not as old as you think.
Exactly. So, yeah. But we won't tell you when we met because now they can do the math, bestie. 19.
Shucks.
Yeah.
But we will start
For that one.
as early as kindergarten, just because I feel like that story is very important to who we are today and the basis of our podcast. No?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
So we loved, hated each other, mostly hated each other in kindergarten. But we had to be friends because our families were friends. We are Latino, and in the Latino community, you end up being cousins with people who are not necessarily your blood cousins, but you become, a lot of friendships are formed through families, right? And back in the days, since our parents both worked, Brenda, who went to school with who? I can't remember. Who used to take whom to school?
So mom used to take us in the morning and your mom would pick us up in the afternoon. I remember it was like 2:00. Oh my God, I hated that. All respect to your mommy, but you would take advantage of the situation, Kathy.
Yeah, so basically mornings sucked for me. It's bad enough I had to wake up early to go to school, but then I'm stuck with this brat who is showing off and nothing will happen because her mom is taking her to school. Shout out to Tia. What's up, Tia? But anyways, to make a long story short, it so happens that our classrooms would be right across from each other and our tables and our chairs would be where we can see each other. And guess what sweet little Brenda would do to me? Go ahead and tell them.
Sweet little Brenda. Oh, come on. Are you really going to say that? Well, okay, guys. So, I used to give her the middle finger, roll my eyes at her, the wonders. I mean, who would have thought that across that hall, you were going to be my best friend 30-something years ago?
Almost days.
That's
a topic for another day.
Exactly. And I'm like, and you want to talk about show off? I mean, come on, bestie.
Yeah.
We both were showing off. So anyway, but yeah, that's who we are. I mean, that's how we met, right? But the biggest thing is, how did we get to this podcast? So we basically used to drive every day, pre-COVID.
Still do. I still do.
Well,
I'm not as lucky as you, bitch.
Yes, but you know what? Bravo to my bestie, because my bestie is an essential worker, and bravo to her. Yeah, that's right.
So anyways, we talked every single morning. We would commute. It was a highlight of our morning. And every day we would just talk about whatever came to our mind, right? And we realized that we talked so much shit that we were like, oh, we should maybe start our own radio show. Then COVID happened and we had to adjust to that life. I have to adapt to my bestie working from home every day. And now I commute with music. Go figure. However, we now changed our phone calls. So in the afternoon when I'm driving home from work. And one day, hubby, aka producers, hears us and says, what?
You guys talk so much mierda. So much mierda. Which means, shit, right? And I'm like, listen, it's our shit and we're proud of our shit. Right, bestie?
That's right. And we were like, what do you think we can talk about for 30-something years? Like, our conversations can never be that serious. However, we've always said that, there has to be some other weird person out there who would listen to all the shit that we have to talk about. And next thing you know, hubby, aka producer, put together this amazing blog for us. And we hope you enjoy listening to our shit as much as we love to talk about it. Brenda and I are really random and we talk about many things. But Brenda, do you want to get right in and just talk about what our episode today is going to be about?
Oh yeah. So, like we say, to us, I feel like, you know, it's very important to who's around you and how things evolve. So one of the things we were thinking is, Bestie, what are the stages of friendship?
So we
I'm
think, or I think,
Mhm.
do you
Go
want
ahead.
me to go into it now, or
I mean, that's what besties do. We interrupt ourselves. Go in, dive in.
we do that really well? So for us, we talked about it, and we think that the four stages of friendships are acquaintances, peer friends, and then moving up the totem pole, close friends and best friend.
Yeah. I mean, by definition, bestie, what is an acquaintance to you? What do you think?
An acquaintance to me, honestly, is someone that whose face I may have seen. I may know you, maybe know your name. Maybe I've seen you with someone. Maybe you're a friend of a friend of a friend. Something like that. Like to me, the only difference between an acquaintance and a stranger is I've seen your face somewhere and maybe I know your name.
Got it. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, there's not much there, right? At that point, you decide, hey, you're gonna stick around or not, right? I don't think there's actually. It's not a deep. It wouldn't be like a deep. You know, it's not deep. It's the start of something, I would say.
Yeah, in my world, you know it's not deep, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But at least I've seen you. You're in my eye, let's say. So that is an acquaintance.
But yeah, you're totally right on that. I agree. I agree. And then that brings us to the next one, which is peer friend, right? Like a
So
peer
peer friend.
friend,
Mhm.
you know? No, go ahead.
So we spend a lot of time at work. I know I spend more time at work than I do with my own family, and that's there's
Hmm.
some sadness in that, but there's also some great things that come with that, right? And a peer friend is just that. It's someone who you became friends with through work. You spend a lot of time with this person. There's some things that are confidentialities that may or may not be shared, but at the end of the day, that friend is still a work friend. It's not like, for me
Right.
anyways, it's not someone who I'm telling my deepest, darkest secrets to yet, at least not at the beginning.
I agree with you. I do think though that the peer friend could be tricky, right? Because I think the acquaintance, it speaks for itself. But you know, a peer friend, like, you know, for example, like, you know, not now obviously, because you know my roommate, co-worker roommate is like my 7-year old who's also remote taking her class, right? But you know, back in the office, I you know, you spend most of your day and your time with your, you know, your peers, your co-workers, right? Or in this case, if you're in school or whatnot, you know. So the question remains, you know, can a peer friend be confused with a close friend, or could it be both? Do you think?
Absolutely. You spend so much time with this person that it might feel like closeness. And I've noticed that one way to kind of differentiate between the two is, does that relationship continue when you are no longer working together? For example, in your case, you are no longer in the office. So whatever peer friend that you have, I think the difference would be, are you still talking to that person outside of work? Are you attending any events? Are you aware of any like important events in that person's life when you're not in the
Mm-hmm.
office, or is that relationship just strictly to the office? Like, for example, I sometimes go on extended vacations, and the difference between a peer friend and a close friend, I mean, not that I'm very friendly, and we'll talk about that later, but
Mm-hmm.
if I haven't spoken to you for whatever amount of time, if you haven't even crossed my mind, then I feel like at that point you're still just a peer friend, like,
Of course. Well,
but it
I
can
think there's a
definitely be confused.
right, and I think there's a thin line on what I would actually show. You know, how do I say this? What I would, you know, confide in a coworker, right? I mean, you gotta look at it in a different perspective. And I think a peer friend, like an acquaintance, this is why sometimes I think they both can relate. I would always like maybe put them, you know, together only because it's something that has to build up, right? But necessarily, I mean, look, I've had like peer friends that have invited me to their wedding, and not many others in the office. I think it we get to that comfort level, right? And it takes time, right? If a peer friend invited me to their wedding and I've only met them for like a month or two, I'd be worried. I mean, that's kind of freaky, but you know what I mean?
I'd go for the free food and drinks, but
Of course. Of course. And the, you know,
and the party. But anyways,
a hundred
sorry.
percent. 100%. So yeah, so
Mhm.
that's my point on that. Would you agree or?
Absolutely. I just think it's kind of like the romance stage when you first start, and hear me out through this one. Like at first, you're attracted to someone, right? You feel hot for them, you want to see them 24/7, you're always talking, you're always around each other, right? And then there comes a point where everything starts to cool off a little bit. Y todo te
Mm-hmm.
empieza a joder, right? Like something
Of
start getting on
course.
your nerves, or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
If you continue to be friends after that, then I think you finally made it to the close
Agreed.
friend. And this is just from like a work perspective coming into a friendship, right? Like
Of
it
course.
doesn't relate to every friendship that's out there.
Of course. Of course. I mean, I personally have had peer friends that have become very good close friends, and for that reason,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yes, 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 yes,
Mm-hmm.
Kathy. I know how you feel about that, but you can have your best friend and you can have others. So, it's okay. So it's okay.
Yep.
You'll learn.
Yeah. And then I mean, it's
Oh.
kind of obvious, no? And then best friend is just that. This is for me. It's a person that you can be yourself with. It doesn't matter
Hmm.
who you are, anything that could. It's just for me, a best friend is someone that I can confide in, and someone that I can, in every sense of the word, right? Especially since I'm a loudmouth, but I'm very private. And
Right.
it's someone that I can just be my fucking self with without having to worry about being judged. To me,
Agreed. Agreed.
that's best friend.
Of course. And that's very important, not judging, accepting, for who you are, and vice versa. It's a two-way street, right? And then going through things along the way. So I think, like, to our point, even mentioning these four stages are important, because at the end of the day, every human goes through this, right? And you do have the social butterfly person, and you have the person that's more enclosed and not, so, I'm not going to say friendly, just careful. And that's okay. I wanted to ask you, since we're into this, right? What type of friend are you? What do you consider yourself to be? Even though I know the answer, but go ahead.
Honestly, at the beginning, I'm the type of friend that you must warn others about. I tend to have a resting bitch face. I can be very serious when meeting someone. My circle is very small, but very tight, right? So I may be cordial. I'm always respectful. I'm very cordial, but I don't know. I tend to have a stink face, and other people don't warm up to that, right? Especially with
Hmm.
the kind of best friend that I have. So, Brenda, what kind of friend are you?
Well, okay, so I'm definitely social, right? So that's, opposites do attract, Kathy. So I'm social, but I'm also the type of friend you like, because I'm just like straight up weird. And, I have no filter, right? So there's a line, and I cross that line every single day. But that's what
Mm-hmm.
it is, right? Like, I feel like if I'm your friend, right? Obviously not an acquaintance.
Incoming. Okay, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. Thank
All
you.
right,
Close the
Bessie.
door. Not right now. I'll be back, y'all.
Part of motherhood.
Okay, tell her I said so. I'll be right back. Shout out to all the podcasters out there that are able to record their podcast without being interrupted by their children. Much respect and much love to y'all, but this is my reality. What can I say? I'm sorry, Bessie, you were saying.
So yeah, listen, it happens to all of us. So what I was saying is, listen, it comes with the package, right? So yeah, I'm that type of friend. I'm just weird. I'm social, but with the years, I've learned to be careful, right? Because, it's a friendship is not something that should be taken lightly.
No, but it's also cool. Like, there's a lot of friends that I feel that I have come across because of Brenda. Like, I haven't introduced Brenda to anyone that hasn't liked her. That is true. Meanwhile, on my end, it takes me a while, but if I like you, you'll know because I'm rude to you. Like, I
Right.
will feel such a comfort level that I will be able to be myself. I'm gonna be very goofy. I'm a very goofy person. Um, and yeah, that's how you know if I remain very professional, quote unquote, then you know I'm still warming up to you. So
Right.
that's us in a nutshell. If there's
Yeah.
anyone in the audience, Bessie, you want to check what kind of friends our listeners are?
Yeah. Let's see if anyone has any messages, or they want to say something. That'd be great. 1 second.
And listeners, if you're there, drop us a line. Like we said, this is our first episode and we're figuring this out. So just a quick hi, thumbs up, thumbs down, hey. Just so that we can figure this out a little bit better.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because the way that I feel is like one thing that you taught me, which was quality over quantity every day, right? And and
Absolutely.
that goes through experiences and stuff like that. And I learned that, you know what? Yes, and I think you're more into this in your teens and 20s, but I think once you're close to your 30s, or you hit your 30s, or once you feel that you really get it, I think you understand what the real picture is. And to be honest, the real picture is that, it doesn't matter how much, it's who's in your life, right?
And it
And it
does make
does make
sense, right?
sense, right?
Because
Because
at
at
20, we're
20,
still
we're still
figuring our
figuring
life,
our
right?
life,
Like
right?
there's some
Like there's
things
some
that we
things that
think
we
that we
think that we
like,
like,
and in our
and in our
mind, we
mind,
know
we know
everything at
everything at
20s,
20s,
right?
right?
And then you
And
get
then
a
you get a
certain
certain
stage and you're
stage, and
like,
you're like,
shit, I didn't
shit,
know
I didn't know
anything, right?
anything, right?
And it's the
And it's
same
the
thing
same
with
thing
friends.
with
You're
friends.
getting
You're
to
getting
know
to know
people. Like,
people. Like,
I don't
I
think
don't
that you
think that
can
you
just
can
have
just
like
have
two
like two
friends your
friends
whole
your
life.
whole
That's
life. That's
impossible. We're
impossible. We're
humans, right? We're
humans, right? We're
social
social
beings.
beings.
Of course, 100%. And
So,
then you know what
with
it
the
is.
development,
I mean, Bestie, listen, let's get real, Bestie. The biggest thing is you just don't want to take shit from people at a certain point, right? Like you mature enough, and you're like, all right, you pick your battles. Does this make sense or no? Right?
Right.
and for me, it's
And for me,
also
it's
about
also about
experiences
experiences
and things
and
that have
things that have
happened,
happened,
right, in
right,
life.
in
That
life,
it's
that
just
it's
like,
just like,
these are my
these are my
friends, and if
friends,
new
and if
friends
new
come,
friends
it's not
come,
like
it's
I'm
not
not
like I'm
open
not
to new
open to new
friends.
friends.
That's
That's
great, but
great,
I'm
but I'm
comfortable
comfortable with
with my little
my little
circle.
circle.
Right, right, right.
So yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally, totally. Yeah, and like I always wonder, what do you like? How long does it take for an acquaintance to reach like a best friend's level? Like, what's too soon to you?
Too soon
Too
for me
soon
would
for
be
me would
like
be
a
like a
month.
month.
I can't
I
like
can't like
pinpoint
pinpoint
a
a
certain time
certain
frame that
time
you
frame that
need
you
to
need to
follow. Like,
follow. Like,
it's not
it's
like
not like
2 years of
2 years of
friendship, we have to
friendship, we
be
have to
best
be best
friends.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
So for
So
me,
for me,
1 month
1 month
might be a
maybe
little
might be a little
crazy.
crazy.
However,
However,
I do
I
think
do
that
think
there's
that there's
certain
certain
things
things
that has to
that has to
happen in order
happen in order
for me to
for me to
consider you a
consider
best
you a
friend.
best friend.
There
Right.
has
There
to be
has to be
loyalty,
loyalty,
trust.
trust.
Trust is a
Trust
big
is a big
one.
one.
And again,
And again,
comfortability.
comfortability.
The
The
ability to be
ability to be
myself and
myself
talk
and talk
whatever
whatever
nonsense and
nonsense
weirdness
and
that I
weirdness that I
have and
have
just be
and just be
comfortable.
comfortable.
Got it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, 100%, 100%. But
You
it
want to
You
make
want
seems
this
to
a
make
like,
little
this a little
exciting?
exciting?
yeah, it really does. It really does. Kathy, I think there's an echo with you. Do you hear like any background?
I
I
do.
do.
You d- would that be on your side, you think?
I heard
I
it
heard
first
it
with
first
you
with you
and
and
then with
then with
me,
me.
and now it's
And
just
now it's
with me,
just
but
with
I
me,
don't know
but
how to. I don't know
I
what
don't
to
know
do.
what to do.
Okay. All right, let's just continue.
Imagine someone just
Imagine
comes on and
someone
goes,
just comes on
ustedes
and goes,
hablen
ustedes
mierda.
hablan mierda.
Well, that's why we're here, right? I don't know.
I would be like, yes.
It's a D Marinas or something. He's the one that's trying, but we can't figure it out. I don't know. Anyway,
What's up, D
What's
yeah.
up, D
Marinas? Thank you for
Marinas? Thank you for
listening.
listening.
Yes, indeed. If you, D Marinas, if you can just like poke us maybe, or leave the audio, it'll be easier. No, not poke us that way. Jeez, bestie. Oh God.
No
Anyway,
poking
No
of any
cooking
kind
of
for
any
me.
kind for
Thank
me.
you. But
Thank
that's
you. But that's
a topic for
a
another
topic for
day,
another
y'all.
day, y'all.
100% bestie. But yeah. So bestie, what is like? Have you ever thought about like the weirdest thing anyone had said to you? Maybe like an acquaintance has said to you that you're like, what the fuck, man? Have you ever like had like something like that?
I'm not that
I'm
cool.
not that cool.
Nothing's coming to mind
Nothing's
just
coming to
yet.
mind just yet.
Okay. So I
About you?
like,
About you?
well, yeah, something weird happened to me one time at work. There was this, I'm pregnant, hormonal, like, hormones are everywhere. And, oh, bestie, I'm
We got a
going to hold
We
that
got a
message.
thought. We
message.
have a message.
Can
Yay.
we get some sort
Can
of
we get
sound
some sort of
thing?
sound
So I don't
thing?
know
So
about
I don't know about
poking, but
poking, but
one question I
one
have
question
is
I have is
how many friends is
how
too
many
many
friends is
friends?
too
Like,
many friends? Like,
you know,
we all have one
we
best
all have
friend.
one best friend.
But what about
But what
like
about
the
like
friends
the
that come
friends that come
behind the best friend?
behind the best
How
friend?
many you think
How
you
many
should
you
have?
think you should
Because too
have?
many,
Because too many,
friends might be too
friends might
many.
be too many.
Oh, D Marina's, thank you for that. Bestie, do you want to take a shot at D Marina's poking question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a
I don't think
limit to
there's a
friends.
limit
I
to
think
friends.
for
I think
every
for
person
every
is different.
person is different.
I think
I
within
think
those
within
friendships
those
that you
friendships
have,
that
there's
you
different
have, there's
levels,
different
right? And it
levels,
goes
right?
back
And
to
it goes
Brenda
back
and I
to
were
Brenda and I were
talking. Maybe
talking.
they're an
Maybe they're
acquaintance,
an
maybe they're a
acquaintance, maybe
peer,
they're a peer,
maybe they're a close
maybe they're a
friend, maybe they
close
are
friend,
best
maybe they
friends. I
are
don't
best
think
friend.
you're
I don't think
limited
you're
to one
limited
best
to
friend.
one best friend.
As my bestie
As
knows,
my
she has
bestie
a
knows,
few
she
best
has a
friends.
few best friends.
And that's
And
okay.
that's okay.
So no, in my
So
opinion, I
no, in
don't
my
think there
opinion, I
should
don't
be a
think there
limit to
should be a
friends.
limit to
I think
friends. I think
everyone
everyone
contributes something to
contributes
your
something to
greatness.
your greatness.
And that's a
And
totally
that's a
awesome thing.
totally awesome thing.
I agree. You couldn't have answered it any better. And I think if anyone could answer that question is you. And I think it's a very good point, you know. Um, definitely. I mean, in my view, I think as long as every relationship is going to be different, right? I just feel that as long as it's a solid relationship, the thing though that I've learned is not to search for many just because you want many, right? But if you know like I said, there's different levels, stages as we're talking about, and there's different types, right? And it all depends on how much you want to allow in your life and so on as well. So you know, D
To
Marina,
piggyback on
thank
what you were
you.
On what you were
saying,
saying,
I think it also
and I think
depends
it
of
also
how
depends
old you
of
are,
how
or
old
not
you
necessarily
are, or
how
not
old you are,
necessarily how
but where
old you
you
are,
are
but
in
where you
life,
are
right?
in
In your
life, right? In
journey.
your
Mm-hmm.
journey.
Agreed.
You know,
You
maybe you're in
know,
a
maybe you're in a
situation where
situation where
you
you
surrounded by love and
surrounded by love and
friendships,
friendships,
and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you
and maybe
are
you are
a loner,
a
you know,
loner,
and
you
you're
know,
okay
and
with
you're
however.
okay
But
with however.
I
But
don't think that there
I
should
don't
be a
think that
limit.
there
You
should
know.
be a limit. You know.
I agree. I agree. I really do think that that's true. I think that, you know, you hit the mark, and not everything has to be negative, right? You know,
Of course not.
Of course not.
there's lots of positive in this world, and that's what we want, right? Like to share love, not always bitterness. So, you know, it's good to be, to
So
always
can we get
have
back
So
that
to the
can
type
we
of
get back
weirdo
to
in
the
your
support.
job?
weirdo in your job?
Oh yeah, let's get back. But can I say I just wanted to know what DeMarinas was eating because he sounded like he was eating, while he was asking us the question. Anyway, yeah,
How
I'm
was
a
that?
foodie. Yeah, that was yeah. Okay. So yeah, so the weirdest thing. Did you just sneeze?
No, I laughed
No,
because you're
I
showing
laugh because you're
everyone how
showing
weird
everyone
you
how
are.
weird you are.
Oh God, I mean, well, anyways, yeah. So anyway, I'm at work. I'm like pregnant. And hormonal, right? Because that's what happens. And that day, we ordered pizza at work. There was boxes of pizza, and I had this coworker that sat next to me and talk about acquaintance, right? Because it was just it couldn't go past that. But anyway, she always wanted to see what I was eating, and I'm pregnant, so dude, I would literally wait every day. I'm going to hold on my thought again because we have another message. 1 second. Are you ready, bestie?
This is where they tell us
This
to
is where
shut
they
the
tell us
fuck
to
up,
shut the
but
fuck
sure.
up, but sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry,
Listen, let me
guys.
just give you
Listen,
some
let me just give you some
backstory.
backstory.
I'm eating while
I'm
I'm
eating
listening
while
to you
I'm listening to
guys.
you
My son
guys. My
actually
son
just took a
actually
crap.
just took a crap.
Had to clean my hand,
Had to
wash my
clean my
hands like
hand, wash
five
my hands like
times.
5 times.
And yeah,
And
I'm
yeah,
eating some
I'm eating
fried
some
rice
fried rice
and some chicken
and some
wings.
chicken wings.
D Marinas,
D.
I
Marinas,
love
I
you.
love you.
Wherever you are in
Wherever
this
you are
world,
in
I
this
love
world, I
you.
love
You are
you.
just
You
as
are
weird
just
as
as
we
weird
are.
as we are.
I know. No
And
wonder
enjoy
he's
that
in
food.
Enjoy
That
it.
that
sounds so
food. That sounds
bomb.
so bomb.
I know, right? Here goes our weight loss challenge, bestie. Yeah. D Marinas just took it out. Oof.
That's
I wonder
another
what's gonna
That's
blog,
happen.
another
another
blog or
podcast
another
for another
podcast
day.
for
This whole
another day,
diet
this whole
thing.
diet thing.
Exactly. Or what's gonna happen after the podcast. It just sounded too good. So, again, like, so anyway, like, there's tons of pizzas everywhere. I'm eating my pizza. I'm pregnant. I'm enjoying this. I'm miserable as it is. And let's be real, bestie. There's so much comfort in pizza. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And anyway, yeah. So anyway, I'm eating my pizza, and she goes, "Hey, can I eat your crust?" And I'm like, wow.
And you.
And I'm like, there's tons of boxes there. I think you can find your own crust. I mean, dude.
And I give the listeners a visual.
Well,
So Brenda's not very tall. Maybe 5 feet. Maybe 5 feet if I do say so myself. She is a foodie. And when she was pregnant, she was very pregnant. So like imagine this little person with a huge belly trying to eat her pizza, and someone coming up to her asking, "Can I eat your crust?"
Yeah.
And Brenda has a very weird look where she wants to tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could see what I'm talking about.
Legit. Dude, you want to eat my crust? I mean, I'm just like, dude.
Bitch,
and you know,
but I'm not eating your crust.
Thank you.
Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, like, to your point, feet crust? Or are we talking about pizza crust? And either or, I don't want you eating it.
I think we did. Hold on.
Yeah, I think it was D. Marinas and he changed his mind. Anyway.
Uh-oh.
But
anyways. So any listeners out there who has any weird things said by anybody at this point?
yeah.
There's a lot of weirdos out there, so I'm sure people have stories.
Yeah, let us know. We want to hear about any crust eating situation here.
So
yeah.
did you give her the crust, by the way?
What do you think?
Probably not.
Answer.
Probably not.
Exactly.
She probably got
You know me.
a nasty look from you too.
Oh my God. I mean, talk about it, but you know, whatever. Look, I love sharing, you know, but it was just weird. And you know what happens, right? When you get weirder than me, then it gets weird, but whatever.
There's only a level of weirdness that Brenda will allow. Once you get weirder than her, she will give you that weird look.
I mean, totally. Oh, wait, we have one. 1 second.
I don't have any weird pizza story, but I can tell you one time when my sister was pregnant, she wanted a piece of my hamburger, and I refused to give it to her. She started crying, so I gave her the damn hamburger because she started crying.
Team Marinas, you are such a sweet bro. I'm assuming. I don't know if you're married, but I'm assuming if you are, you're a good husband. I mean, being pregnant myself, there's nothing more important to food for a pregnant woman.
Bestie, like, did you just realize what he said? How mean could D. Marinas get? Like,
I mean, he was eating a burger.
Like,
there's sometimes that you're looking forward to this food, and you finally get it, and you have somebody crying, and then you're like, shit, I gotta do the right thing, right?
But did D. Marinas give her the burger?
He said he did.
Okay. Well, yes. If he did,
that's why I give him a shout out.
All right. If he did, then that's that.
I hope he did. If not, he's gonna get that star in his eye.
D. Marinas, can you clarify whether or not you shared that burger, you know, at any point during our podcast? That'd be great. But yeah, like, you know, women get hormonal and like, you know, I don't know. I always thought that was a myth, you know, about, oh, you don't ask a pregnant person about food, blah, blah, but it's real, man. It's real. But, you know.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But,
I can't believe we're doing this shit.
I can't believe it either. Like oh
we're just talking a whole bunch of crap right now.
Yeah.
And I hope people are listening, but it's been fun regardless.
I do think it's fun. It's fun. You and I talked about this all the time, you know. It all depends what comes, you know, to our head, and we just let it out, and you know, it's great. So, you know.
So should we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's. I don't see D. Marinas anywhere. But
I don't think he shared that burger.
No, I don't think so. But you know what,
dude.
D. Marinas.
So y'all, thank you for hanging out with us. We hope to give you a even better podcast next time. But again, thank you for spending time with us and allowing us to share our thoughts. Do you have any last thoughts, Bestie?
No. I just, you know, we just want to thank I think this is D. Marinas right before we close. One moment.
I did not share. I shared the burger, I think. Well, my mom made the burger for her, so she stopped crying. But the moral of the story is she's pregnant. Get her to stop crying by giving her a burger.
Oh, D.
Oh,
Marinas,
D.
you're back
Marinas,
to being a
you're back
sweetheart
to
in
being
my
a
book.
sweetheart in my book.
Agreed, 100%. Sorry, maybe I misjudged you. Ooh, an acquaintance trait right there. That's why we gotta be careful, people. Yeah, as my bestie said, thank you for joining us. It's our first one, so we're excited. We'll have more to come. We'll get better, hopefully. As my bestie always says, life is a journey.
But it's
But
sweeter
it's
with
sweeter
the
with the
bestie.
bestie.
Bye,
Happy
y'all.
Sunday,
Happy
y'all.
Sunday, y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.